Boom, we're here. So we're back on another episode. We got someone dope in here today. First, let me do a little housekeeping. If you're listening, rate, subscribe, comment, all that, share it. We want to connect with you. If you're listening as well, you can watch it on Big Mood TV. We just want to connect. And Eric_Big Mood Coach on Instagram, all that. But today we have Eury Almonte with Third Eye Collection, which is, I'm rocking this shit right now. I rock this shit all the time, constantly wearing it. So introduce yourself, Eury. What's good, man?
Not much to say, man. Just, Eury Almonte, originally from Jersey, served in the Navy, new father, entrepreneur.
Congratulations.
I just, whatever. I don't know. I don't like to label myself, man. I do, a little bit of everything, man. So,
So let's talk about that. Let's just chat it up. Tell people about the brand. Tell me about the brand, the inception. So like the quality of your clothes is high level. Because everybody's making clothes. Everybody got merch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's something you're doing different. So explain to people why you're doing it the way you're doing it, where it came from. Just give people the background. I like to highlight people's, really let people know where the brand comes from.
The brand came, it was a tough time in my life at the moment. And honestly, I was in the gym one night. It was a Friday night, and the idea came to me because I wanted to do something new. And I was just asking myself these questions to myself while in the gym, what do I want to do? Well, why don't I start clothing? It was something I had discussed prior. So, well, what am I going to name it? And I'm walking by the mirror and I have a tat on my arm with an eye and a compass. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I could use this. And I kind of, I left the gym. Needless to say, I didn't even finish my set. Once the idea started flowing, I just went home and wrote down as much as I could. Then I designed as much as I could as far as sketching, what I wanted ideally. And, but I knew, just like now, it's not as much or as heavy now with all the clothing brands. But when I started, it was like, 2019 early. So I just wanted to stand out. And I was like, what is something that a lot of people want they could have that they don't? And it's just high quality, very high quality clothing at, attainable prices, So I went and did my research. Took me a while, connected with LA Fashion Source in LA. I actually flew out there the year 2019 when everything was starting. And they provided, man, the fabrics. It's like bamboo, all this stuff. And some stuff I didn't even know went in clothes. And but after research, I'm just like, yeah, I want this. We made it happen. And I was able to mark it down, to a price, business is business, but I was able to mark it down to a price where, somebody that earns 40, 50K a year can afford it and still, it won't hurt their pockets. So that's my main aim. I wanted to kind of bring that luxury feeling and make it more accessible to people without having to pay, $400 a tee, $1,000, a jacket. So I wanted to kind of provide that same kind of feel, look, competitive material, but at an affordable price, So I definitely, that was the main goal behind it. But yeah, that's what led me to start. But the idea just came from a dark place. That's why you see the tear in the eye. I feel like a lot of revelations, a lot of self-learning comes from pain, So it's the kind of, it lets anybody know, what you're going through now, it's only preparing you for what you, for where you're going to go. So I like to keep that logo there. It just, reminds, every time, because life, when things are good, they're good. But, when you go through that rough patch, it may seem like it's going on forever. And
for sure,
it's just to remind people like, hey, it's not going to be forever. You just got to get through it, and something great is going to come, at the end result. So
for sure. So it's streetwear. That's what I consider it. Streetwear.
yeah.
It's hip hop oriented. Do you think Jersey influences the style? Because like out here, I'm in California, I'm in San Diego. The sweatsuit with the Jordans or the Nikes, like having the matching sweatsuit, that's not big out here. That's not like the wave out here. So do you think Jersey influences the style of the wear?
Oh, for sure. Just growing up, and it even influences how I make the clothing, because I look to make things versatile, that you can wear on more than one occasion in different types of outfits, and that came up just growing up in Jersey. You don't really have much selection when you go in your closet, so you got to mix match. You got to make things work. So it came from that, just the style all around New York. I was right across the Hudson, so you see styles coming in from New York, and it's like the newest thing all the time. Yeah. So it was just a little bit of that. I never wanted to like follow a trend, but more so stay ahead of the curve. So, like doing the bowling shirt, people looked at me crazy, like a bowling shirt. And I was like, all right. But then, you see this past summer with the NBA bubbles, bowling shirts and them shorts going crazy, right? So it's just things like that I love, I love trying to stay ahead of the curve and just produce things that may turn some heads at one point, but kind of like, oh, okay, I see, where you were going with this. So yeah, definitely. Jersey inspired a lot of it for sure. For sure.
So we see where you're at, and where you're at, it seems like you're garnering success. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think if I'm thoroughly enjoying it, I'm assuming other people are thoroughly enjoying it. I'm watching your story. People are rocking it. Where do you want to see it go in the next year or 5 years? Do you have a vision for it, or like is it gonna stay sweatsuits? Is it which direction is it going?
So right now I'm just focusing on it's a lot, but so
we got time. Get into it.
All right, I want to describe this, in a way. All right, so the goal for this is gonna be more. It's gonna be more customer oriented, to where we make. It's not going to be sweatsuits we're still going to do that, because, those are my favorites. I love sweatsuits. It's a classic look, and I feel like we can change it up every year, just a little bit different, to keep it exciting. But overall, I want, more customer experience. I want people to be able to order the sizes that they need for certain gear and get, so it fits them how they like. I want to move it in that direction, more like instead of ready to wear, more made to order. So it's like when you order it, it's you go, these are your sizes, all right, cool. And then if you're a repeat customer, we already have that on file, so all you got to do is order, and we get going. So I want to appeal more to that side, bring a little bit more exclusivity to the higher end stuff, it cuts costs. It's less damaging to the environment. I'm really trying to move into that space too with the fabrics. So I used some already, but the processes in which it were used, I didn't like that overall. So, with bamboo, rayon, stuff like that, it's not really as damaging, but it's still damaging, So I want to move into a completely eco-friendly type of space. That's why you haven't seen us, really put out much, because I'm working on, changing how we were doing things completely. Just eco-friendly, more customer based. But I also want to provide different levels, to where not everybody's gonna want that. A collection that we come out with, if we were to come out with like a leather collection, we're not, but I'm just throwing that out there. But if we were to come out with like a leather collection, no, not everybody's gonna want that. But they might want a t-shirt, or I even have an idea to have like a subscription program, to where we get you your necessities, on a monthly basis. You just pay like, $10, $12, $15, whatever the case may be, that makes sense. And you're able to get, pack of t-shirts, underwear, socks, and then at high quality, and you're able to repeat. And we check in monthly, every 2 months or quarterly, and just make sure, hey, you need a refill. Okay, boom, charge your card, stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
subscription based.
Just being able to appeal to different markets. I know a lot of brands try to niche down on who they like to appeal to, but I feel like this brand is so much more.
Yes, versatile.
Then I feel like it's so much more. I never felt comfortable labeling it as like, it's just high fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I added, socks, because not everybody's going to want the green button up. They might just want some socks, right? So stuff like that. I wanted to appeal to anybody who's interested, because overall, it's not a niche brand, because the message can appeal to anybody,
For sure.
And I feel like the message is stronger than the clothing in this sense. So, so for that, it's just trying to basically move in a better direction, help the environment. Wow, I kept trying to think the economy, but but the environment, just trying to help the environment, and just move in that way, and just appeal to people who may not have the funds, to shop high fashion, but they know that they have a need, underwear, socks, all that. We can appeal to them on a consistent basis and provide them with the quality, that they love,
For sure.
So moving into that. Home goods too, we're starting to experiment a little bit with that. But just trying different things out. I feel like with a brand like this, you can, or any brand really in a creative space, you can just explore and see what works, because not everything's going to be a home run, but if you could get a couple singles,
Yeah, definitely. Not everything's going to be a home run, but for sure, taking risks.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. In business, being in business for myself, a lot of people are scared to take risks on a regular basis, especially in the creative space. So I encourage you, continue to take risks, and like, if it's ready, if it's made to order, then people just don't order it, then that's cool. You tried it, and who knows, that might bubble. Let's talk about the manufacturing process and the logistics process. How did you just research it, or did you have a mold that you were following, or how do you learn that? Because like for me, I've printed some shirts, and the logistics is challenging.
Man,
yeah. So it seems like you're pumping this stuff out, and like I said, like this shirt, it just looks like a t-shirt, but when you put it on, the quality is a certain way, and the fit is a certain way. So how did you learn the manufacturing process, the logistics process?
Man, a whole lot of research and just communicating with people around me that are, informed. Because one thing as entrepreneurs, you gotta exhaust all your resources. So that means even the people you gotta ask them. If you gotta set up a consultation to get some knowledge, cool, do that. You know what I'm saying? But exhaust everything that you have to create value. So I just set out a plan as far as what I needed, what the business needed. And honestly, I just got to research, man. I was on Instagram. I couldn't tell you, and I don't like being on Instagram that much. But man, I was on there day and night searching for manufacturers, and I came across a few, talked with a few, but I ended up going with LA Fashion Source, man. Shout out to them in Chelsea. Great people, man. Definitely helped me get started and bring the vision to life. So it was just, all I needed to do at that point was, I had a 30-minute conversation. I already had the details, I had the sketches and everything, and I had a development sheet that I went through and kind of added all the details that I wanted. But it was a long process, man, because I would say I found the manufacturer in July. My products didn't touch down till November, of 2019. Yeah. So it's a long process. You have to wait. You have to focus on the end goal. You have to stay creative, because, when you say, hey, this is coming in September, and then things happen on the back end that you can't control, or the manufacturers can't control, you gotta find a way. So it was tough, but yeah, the manufacturing process, it takes you, and it's changing. It's definitely changing with technology. It's not as much shipping back and forth to try out clothing, because usually it's they send the sample out just to see the fitting. You say, okay, this fits good. If it does, cool. If not, they adjust it. Then they throw on a design and send it to you. You say, okay, this is cool. And then like the final one is like, all right, this is like the final approval. Now I think it's changing. I'm trying to cut out those first 2 times and get the final product with exactly, the fit that I want. So, it was a tough process to start. It was all learning. But through that waiting period, it bred a product that I feel is going to be like one of the staples for the brand, which is that trucker hat.
Yeah.
That was literally like a phone call with my cousin, Jordy. He helps me a lot with the designs. It was a phone call with him. He's like, man, just why don't you come out with a trucker hat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At this point, I didn't really see too many people doing this, so I was kind of iffy, and we came out with the design, got them done in like 2 weeks, and they sold out in a week.
There you go.
So, and then put out a dad hat that sold out in like 22 hours. And I'm like, all right, well, I got something, but the logistics is hard, man. That's hard to figure out. You have to do a lot of analytics. You have to really pay attention to the numbers. You have to really pay attention to what it is that people want, because you may think you have the best product in the world and it won't sell at all. You know what I'm saying? Like you spent hours creating a product, man, and you will not get any traction. You like trust it happens, but that's part of the trial and error. You gotta cater to your audience, so it's not just your ideas mostly. Like it is, but you have to fine tune it to appeal to your audience. You can't just throw out just what you want and what you would wear, because everybody's their own individual,
Sure.
So the logistics part is the hardest to find. I actually came up with a new plan with my cousin. If this works, I'll get on here and I'll share that knowledge, man, because it's a different method. It goes back to the made to order, but it's basically to prepare us, because I always felt in my heart when we started this that it was just gonna blow. Didn't know exactly when, what time, who, how. I just know it will, but I just want to prepare ourselves, because if you blow up too quick as a brand, that could end you.
For sure.
If you can't handle that, then if you can't handle those orders, that's why, I have complete inventory of what we need, but I have that setup to where, hey, yeah, they may have to wait a little bit, but I will be able to complete all these orders in a timely fashion. So I think people need to prepare themselves. I think for brands starting out, just start small and let your stuff, sell out. And, if you need to just get more, then set up a pre-order. Make sure that your products are, either paid for through the pre-orders, or, just find a way that works for you. Everybody does it different, but yeah, it's just fine tuning it. I can't really give a solid plan for any one brand, because it's honestly, in this game, is like so individualistic as far as brands go. Like you have to find what works for your brand, because however you display your brand or market it may not work for another,
Sure.
However you sell may not work for another. So it's just really taking time, and it takes time. And a lot of people don't want to put that time in, but that's all it takes. You take time and just figure it out. Pay attention to the analytics. Pay attention to, and ask your audience. I get on there. If I have a question, I'll probably have made my mind up already, but I kind of just want to see how they're feeling, and may change my mind as far as, what I do release, what I come out with, or, things like that. So, because we, like, say, just recently, I'm like, me and my girl, she came up to me like, hey, I want to make candles. So I'm like, that's a good idea. So we put it up to a poll. You know what I'm saying? We put it on Instagram, got the feedback, and it's like, all right, we can move forward with this, because the feedback was 100% for it, so we know we already have a few customers there. And from there, we got word of mouth, and we got different avenues we can market this for, you know. So
Definitely.
It's just, man, you really got to pay attention. Really got to pay attention and know, and you got to be self-aware as well. Self-aware, definitely.
Sure.
That's one of the biggest things.
For sure, man. So that something you said earlier, that I feel like people miss, and especially it's in the podcast space. It's in every space, whether it be design, podcasting, writing, staying inspired, staying creative. So how do you, and it sounds like you're working with your cousin as well, but and your girl now, but how do you stay creative? And what's your creative process? Like, is there certain things that inspire? Is there certain things that inspire a thought, a linear thought that ends up into a product? Like, what's your creative process? What inspires you creatively?
So for me, I have spurts. So I had to learn that I'm not going to be creative 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, the way my mind works is just, I need to do a lot of things, you know, at once. You know, I'll work on third eye, but I'll also work on this business. I'll you know, different things. So I know that when it's time to work on third eye, sometimes if I need to be creative, I won't really feel it sometimes, you know, and it used to get frustrating until I learned, like, hey, you know, maybe if I work on other things inside the brand, it'll spark a creativity, or just having conversations with people that are creatives and you have them around you, that inspires the creativity as well. Or just sketching, just doing things, you know. I read a lot about Banksy. He inspires a lot. I like his thought process.
I lost you. I lost your video for us. There you go.
Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, I love Banksy. I love his process. I watch documentaries on Dior, on Chanel, on Ralph Lauren, just to kind of see, you know, just to see their thought process, see how they think, see how they came up with things, how they maneuvered. Because I more so want to go inside their mind, you know, and see their thought process and everything, rather than things they created, and try to use that to make a design. I feel like the designs just kind of come, to be honest. I try not to pay too much attention to what's trending or what's hot, because I don't want it to affect what we do, you know. So I want us to form our own ideas, our own designs, and when it drops, it may be ahead of its time, or it may be something that was hot back then and we're just rejuvenating it or something, you know, but it has our own twist, our own creativity to it. So it's just surrounding yourself, I would say, with individuals that are creative is definitely one thing that you want to do to stay creative and inspired. Another thing is, if you're not feeling artistic in a sense where you can sketch your next design, man, work on something else in your business. You know what I'm saying? Or do something that brings about your creativity, whether it's writing, reading, you know, different things, because it doesn't just have to be about the fashion. You can intertwine so many other things into your art, you know. So I feel like as long as you're doing things to keep your mind active and creative, I feel like you should have no problem. And even if you do, it won't last too long, you know.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's being a student of life, you know, just watching life go by and watching life happen and experiencing life, keeping creative people around you, and it comes in spurts. That's why I podcast twice a week. I have a guest where I don't have to be that creative. It's all about you. And then one day a week I experience life and share that experience. So it comes in spurts, but I think just go, you know, living life is a huge inspiration, as well as having those creative people around you.
Definitely. Life, if you got to pay attention though, you can't just let life pass you by. But if you pay attention, life right
is
here, you step
inspiring,
outside.
man.
Yeah, it has all the answers you need, man. Just go out there and just, you know, pay attention, and you'll be surprised as to what you come up with, man. But you just got to stay active, you know.
For sure. I used to tell my friends that, because this podcast started with a gang of us. I was scared to do it on my own. So we had like 2 guests, and then we had 4 guests, and we had three guests now, three hosts, and now it's just me. And I would tell them, I'd be like, yo, just there's so much happening in your life. Like, extrapolate, break it apart, think about it, ponder, see where your mind goes. And when you start breaking down the beauty of life, there's so much to explore. So I appreciate that as part of your process. So I love this. I really love it. And I'm not just faking the funk. I really love it. I rock the sweatsuits a couple days a week, like just chilling around the house. So plug the website, plug the Instagram. You crushed it, by the way. I didn't have to do much talking. You did a very good job for your first podcast. You explained everything people would want to know. We'll finish with two things. So plug everything. But what would you tell an aspiring designer or an aspiring business person? What would you tell them, to get them started or to keep them going?
To get them started, I would say, figure out what your brand is. It's going to change, but figure out how you want to start. Some keep it the same. Mine changes constantly. I feel like it's evolving, but just be very clear with what you want to do, who you want to impact with your clothing, and just what ideas you want to present to the world.
Yeah.
And the next thing to keep people going is just don't lose that fire that got you started. You know what I'm saying? If you lose it, not everybody's going to do this, the rest of their lives. But if just make sure that if it is something you want to do, just keep finding ways to keep that fire burning inside you to continue this going, whether, however it is. You need to take a break and then come back to it, if that works for you. Just if you develop other skills that you can use outside of your brand, and that keeps the fire alive inside you to continue your brand. You just got to find the way. Because once you start, it's an uphill battle. It's not easy.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying?
If it was easy, everybody be doing the shit.
But you would think because everybody's doing it that it is. But you'll see, it's like 2016 SoundCloud. It's a whole lot, but a lot will fall off within a year or so because people will realize like this takes a lot more time and energy than I originally wanted to invest. So just know that when you start, it's an uphill battle. It's a lot of losses. People don't be fooled by Instagram. People will post their wins all day, but it takes a lot of losses to get to those wins.
For sure.
So just stay consistent with it. If you can, or already have a mentor, ask question after question after question. Just seek knowledge and everything. So it's just basically. I say that just keep going, man. I mean, the minute you stop, your dream dies. You know what I'm saying? So beautiful. I feel like just keep going and keep it going, man. And they'll be all right. Whoever's out there starting, all you gotta keep going. Keep finding a way. It'll work.
Yeah, I echo that same sentiment. Just keep going. Just keep going. There's a lot of L's you gotta take, but just keep it moving. So plug everything. Plug the site, plug the Instagram, plug all that.
So the site, thirdeyecollection.com. The I is just the letter I. Instagram is at thirdeye.co. Right now, those are my two platforms that I use, main platforms. It's where I've been able to reach, the most people through Instagram, I feel. But we're going to look to branch out. Yeah. I feel like we'll have an app soon.
For sure, man. Yeah. Once you get going, just take it everywhere. That's my opinion. I'm a do everything kind of person. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do that too. Because once you're going, it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah.
And let me know when the new sweatsuits drop, because I rock that.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Now I'm gonna start working on them a lot sooner than I usually do, because I wanna have them prepped and ready like as soon as fall weather hits. So. Sure. Yeah, you'll know, bro, for sure.
All right, bet, man. I appreciate you joining us. And as Eury Almonte with Third Eye Collection, thank you, man.
Appreciate you having me, man.
All right, man.